you doing? I'm Chimdi Awa Diaries, and I am so excited to do this today. I have a lot to tell you, like plenty big bitches. But then before I go on, let's take it. What have I learned in this period? When I came back home, I was almost frustrated. I thought this period was going to not take too long. And so when I was coming from school, I brought a few clothes because I was like, max 1 month, I'm back in school. Who doesn't want to graduate? I want to finish university and be done with a chapter of my life. But then, sadly, that did not happen. I've been at home for 6 whole months. And I started to feel the pressure mount. And when you watched the last episode of Diaries, probably such there, and she was talking to you about the stuff that she had learned in this period, from developing skills in videography and graphic designs to starting up a business as naturals, and then to building her self-confidence. And it's in that light that I have a lot to share with us today. It's not going to be an overly long video, obviously, because we want to give you stuff that you can watch and be glad that you watched and not take too much of your time. But then I promise you that this particular episode will be very impactful, and I will say things that will shape your thoughts in some regard, especially in the spirit. I felt like it would just last for 1 month, right? And I just knew that I had to start to do something, or to run crazy. Anyway, so what have I done this time? Should I talk about skills, about videography and graphic designs? And I think I've done a bit of that. I learned to use Canva, I learned to use Spark Post in this period. And I cannot say that I'm a pro, right? But then I have good content, good enough graphics to upload on my Instagram, because I just figured out that a lot of people don't just want to read the caption and then go on that to read. People want to, see things, see pictures, see images that have some sort of creativity. And I was able to learn that. So that's one skill I learned in this period. I also learned cooking. I know how to cook, I know how to cook. Don't even get me wrong, I'm a boss at cooking, I've always known how to cook. But then that's not the point. The point is I learned in this period new recipes from just watching TV. My uncle calls me an internet chef because I go online and then I'll look for new recipes or just look for new stuff. I'll go to my mom's garden and I'll pick anything and just make something beautiful out of it, because I like beautiful food. I eat things that look nice. So I learned a lot of recipes, I developed a lot of recipes, and that's something I learned in this period. Now I think my skills basically have not been I've learned a few skills, but then I don't want to talk to us about the skill set that I've had to pick in this time. More than that, I want to talk to us about the stuff I've had to do in this time and the stuff I've had to battle with. So I told you that. I've been able to, put out new episodes of my podcast every week. Since I came back, I've just not put out on one Monday because I had to take a break to start a second season. So you just know that every Monday I expect to see my podcast. That's something that I had to struggle with, but I overcame, and I found a way through it all. But then more than that, I have had good opportunities in this time. Usually when I'm in school, I anchor corporate social events once in a while. But then in this period, I've done a few virtual events. I've had people talk to me about, doing master classes. And I think that's been a big deal for me, right? I'm not just there doing nothing, being aimless, so to say. People have learned skills, people have learned to sew, people have learned to bake, people have learned to cook, people have learned to do a lot of things. But in all of this, I've learned to... So remember I talked to you about my podcast. I think that's one of the most difficult things for me in this period, because usually I get my content from normal everyday conversations with people, but then that was really tough for me, seeing as I had to be at home most of the time. It was just really hard, and at some point I started to get really discouraged because I didn't want to keep my listeners hanging. But then at the same point I dreaded Mondays because I didn't just want to come out there and talk and people did not get anything from the stuff I was saying. That's a real struggle for me. That was something I had to go through in this time. But truth is, I found out that I could get content from reading my Bible, from reading books, from even phone conversations. I could make up content from the stuff that I've seen, the stuff that I'm concerned about, the stuff that I'm passionate about, and it's given me new streams into content creation and content. Top of podcasting and putting out content. I don't know, I've just learned to chill. One of the important lessons I've learned in this time, and God, I must tell you, is not to be too bothered about the stuff that you cannot control. Because, jeez, I mean, there's a time where I just really wanted to go, and that's not bad, right? It's not bad to be goal-oriented and value-driven and all of those big names, big words. But then, more than that, there are times just come, I just know that this is outside my control, and oh God, I felt that in this time. But then I just learned, I had this new insight that I wasn't going to, what about stuff that I cannot change regardless of how hard I tried. And that's something I learned in this time. And I talk about the consistency in my podcast that has kept me, like, being able to, my consistency. I've been able to learn what it means to be dedicated. In this time, I took 2 online courses, and God, I did not know I had it in me to finish online courses. Like, God, I cannot admit laziness in front of the camera. No, I am not lazy. But then I could not, I just had this struggle finishing those courses. But then eventually I was able to finish. Like, I just told myself, girl, you are doing this. Like, even if you don't do anyone after this one, you have to just show the world and show yourself that you can do this. And I was able to do 2 online because I didn't want it low and I didn't want artificial intelligence. So I have, like, new knowledge. Okay, so outside that, something very important I've learned before I go out, or before I leave here today, before I stop talking today, is I've learned to build my relationship with God. I've learned what intimacy means with God. I've learned to, take time to study my Bible, take time to actually talk to God, and not just do rushed prayers or just do stuff that is conventional or stuff that in my church, maybe we have like a guideline for prayers: acts, adoration, confession, thanksgiving. But I've learned to do more than that. I've learned to pour my heart to God, and that's something that has really been great to me. Great for me in this period. So I've talked about skills. I learned a lot of graphic designing. I learned more cooking. Did I learn baking? I don't want to say what I don't know. Let me embarrass my family members. But then, of course, I've tried. And, I've learned intimacy with God. I've learned through studying my Bible, through reading books that faith comes by hearing. And I've learned, I did 2 online courses. I finished. I had certificates. So, gathered new knowledge. I've just been able to do a lot. The point of all of these people is that, one, I'm telling you, celebrate your small wins. I mean, if you have done something, regardless of what it is, in this time as an undergraduate student, like something outside your studies, whether it's a skill, maybe not a soft skill, something hard, that's a big deal. And if you've been able to gather soft skill, that's like another big deal. So what Diaries is commending your efforts. I am commending your efforts. I'm telling you, well done. I'm telling you, you're too much. And if you've not started to do anything, there's still time. I mean, I pray school starts really soon, but then even before it starts, like, there's a lot that you can do. I have a lot of friends. I have a couple of friends that are learning sewing. My brother is learning tailoring. I mean, meal and female apparel, and I'm like, wow, like, Chimdi, well, what can you do with your hands? You can just talk. But then that's all I'm saying to you guys today. So I'm going to end here, and I know Chidera is going to come up next week. So what do? Hit subscribe, like, share, follow Diaries on Instagram, and I'm Chimdi Awa, Coanchor Diaries with Chidera. Signing out here, people. My smile.